Good morning from Italy. Bobby G.
Hey, Rob. Hey, Bobby.
Hey. Yes, how you doing?
Good, good, good.
Look at this. Mr. Turner's on.
All right, Carlos.
What's up, Carlos? See, uh, Chopper, I told him that it was going to be epic today, so he showed up actually. He's usually too good for us.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a long time.
I know. Let's take a picture of him. We haven't seen him for a while. So Carlos, Mr. Turner, this is for you, and you just need to take this to your team members, all right? That's the mission for today. All right. And Beth, those ones that were struggling that we were talking about, this is a game changer.
Yeah, good, 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 good. We need it.
So,
I just wanted a quick story. I interviewed an agent, and at the reason she was changing brokerages is she went to her company Christmas party, and the owner thanked her for her production and paying for the Christmas party. She was like, "I'm out. I'm giving too much of my commission away."
it's
So,
kind of the wrong message, right?
yeah, it was kind of the wrong message.
We all know it's true, but it was the wrong message.
Right, right.
All right. And look at did I guilt you, Mr. Durso, in attending? I can't hear you.
You did. I
Uh,
had
all
an
right.
invitation
It's
to
got
help though.
it's going to be worth it. I'm in Rome. I'm tired, but I'm doing it because it has to be done. Now, who's our two iPhones on? Doesn't matter, but
It's me. I'm Ron.
okay, Ron. All right. So the show's going now. And just like Carlos, like the three levels that we do when we go on a listing, you can list it at market, you can try to win the lottery, or you can go auction style. This the sheet that went out with Friday's session I enhanced. I have to say a lot of this is from studying some of the stuff the seeds that Alan Dalton planted. Who's a Harvard grad. He's probably not as much of a practical individual, but he's a very visionary individual, and so a lot of this is borrowed from him, and probably more of it from his students. Just to give you guys an idea where this is coming from. All right, Donna, Kathy, Lynn Schmitz, how's it going? This is for you and your team too,
Good morning.
especially Dan and Alina. Okay, they need this.
I just popped on, so you mean they need what we're talking about today?
Yes, they're going to need what we're talking about today. All right. So let's get the show started. So why, why doesn't everybody that we meet sign up with us, or better yet, sign up with our team members at the fair commission and the optimal price? I just want to get a couple of opinions. Like, we've all had team members that have either lost listings or have taken them overpriced. I've seen it. I think every one of your team members have done it. Why does that happen? Patrick, why will a team member tell a seller that says, "Oh, I thought my house was worth 100,000 more," maybe mislead them that it might be worth that?
Either they're just trying to get the listing because they don't have any other business going on. But I think if you didn't get the listing in the first place, it's because you didn't provide enough value or show a path forward to get to the closing table.
And I'm even going to say though that a lot of our team members have the value, especially have access to it. But would you say that some of them, Patrick, lack confidence?
Yes.
Would you say some of them lack clarity? Some of them don't have the communication skills to get the job done right? And if you're taking a shortcut, you just tell them what they want to hear, you get the paper signed, you walk out the door. Okay. And sometimes that's not good enough. Sometimes you even stretch the truth and they don't sign up or they don't work with us. Well, if you're going to be taking those listings going into this market in New Jersey, and if you're taking these in Florida, it's going to be a long road before they sell, and some of them are going to expire, and it's going to be a lot of stress and heartache. You're going to be seeing your phone ring and you're going to be, oh, it's a homeowner. So this is all on a sheet, but I think if you write some of these things down, it will be helpful. We're going to talk about strategy, tactics, psychology. We're going to talk about the 3 reasons why we get objections. Okay, why do you think sellers might object one of your team members, Patrick, and not Chopper? What would be one obvious reason?
Sales record.
So Chopper has a brand, they might not have a obvious brand, right? What's another reason?
Experience.
Okay, your process isn't the same as Chopper's, right? Your experience. And I think the third and the easiest one to correct, you might not hit it. It might not be as obvious, but what do you think the third reason is? Anybody?
Talk too much, don't ask enough questions.
But you're getting there.
I'm getting warm.
You're getting warm. It's the presentation lacks clarity, right?
Okay.
It's not crisp. If we can't communicate it, so and Mr. Dalton, and I would agree with him. He says that you could probably get away if you master 2 of these 3. But like if you don't have a brand like Chopper or Lynn or like any of us or Bobby Golden in Woodbridge, all right, that means that you need to get the other 2. You need to nail the other 2. Okay, and if you're a team member, more likely than not, you need to nail the 2 that aren't brand. You need to have the clarity of communication and you need to have a good process. Okay, so a couple other things for mindset, confident, and this is stuff that I can relate to when I go out and I'm a co-pilot with any of you on a listing or even helping you prepare for a listing. It's confidence, it's collaboration, it's being consultative, but it's also being in charge without being arrogant. It's like a humble ability to be in charge, in my opinion. Does that make sense to you guys?
My
Yes?
dad always said, quietly confident, be quietly confident. That should be your demeanor.
Yep. And here's stuff that's worth writing down, okay? We need to disassociate sales price and list price. We need to disassociate sales price and list price. Does that make sense? Anybody? Bueller?
Yes.
What do you mean by that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, how do you articulate that to the customer?
Okay, let's talk off the record, then we'll talk about how we get that across to the client, because I think getting it across to the client is the whole process or the tactic for achieving the strategy. In other words, if a seller believes that if I start out at 800 instead of 650, I'm going to land at a better price, where are they going to want to list every time?
800.
Right. So the same house, if they're faced with a binary option of 650 or 800, if they believe 800 is going to get them a higher price because they're associating list price with the sales price.
Okay,
Okay. We need to disassociate that. We need to break that connection because it's not true. Okay. Another thing that we need to do is we need to realize that comps are history. Okay. The comparable sales are history. And I think it was Alan, or it might have been one of his students, Andrew, he's like, comps are like saying, if you're comparing comps for houses, you can get into the weeds. Anybody ever get in the weeds comparing the most recent comps? Yes?
Yes.
easy to do.
So here's a mindset shift that will make you never think of it the same way again. So who on the call has kids? All right, let's compare comparable kids. It's ridiculous, right? So comparing comps is an emotional connection, okay? And it's also in the rear view mirror. We need to be looking out the windshield. And the windshield is where the market, the trends and the current competition, right? Because at best, even if a comp sold today, that's the present. Every other comp is the past. And I would even say a comp sold today is the past because it went under contract 30 to 60 days ago. Okay. So we need to be able to tell the story without offending people, right? And has anybody seen this new trend of listings coming on? Some of you called me and said, hey, there's a listing for $1. Anybody seen that yet?
No.
Okay, there's listings coming on for $1 in our market because they understand that that's going to breed like this buying frenzy. Okay, And Daniela, I'm going to send you the notes here because your team can really benefit from like this particular language that's here, and most of it's borrowed, but I still take credit for it.
Is that working?
Are they getting a lot of offers based on that?
I mean the $1, I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you something that that made my day last Saturday is I had an agent. For those of you in the New Jersey area, you might know I had a partner, Sharon Bajwa in Princeton. She had actually exited that relationship with me, and then 2 months later, she said I can't keep my other two offices, so she handed them off to me in a fiery mess. Okay, she's just like, I'm getting, I have family issues. I need to exit immediately. So the first two calls we got were agents saying they were resigning. And we turned that around on Saturday. I took an agent who was on the verge of taking a $200,000 overpriced listing from an Asian client that barely speaks English. She said it's very analytical, but there's a tremendous language barrier. Um, we took these concepts, we wrote it out in English, put it in ChatGPT, put the numbers there, and we got it listed for $150,000 less. Okay, and then this agent went on the chat for the entire office and said, "You won't believe what happened. Like our broker actually helped us. I'm not leaving." So, but I'm telling you that story because this can be your team members, right? And even if it's not preserving the team members, it can be helping them make a heck of a lot more money than they're making now, right? And sometimes, I'm sure that there are one, if not many of you that feel better when a newer agent or a struggling agent that's working their ass off gets a deal and closes it, right? You're closing 3 to 5 a month and they're closing their first hard deal. It's got to make you smile, right? And it's more than money. This is what I'm talking about. So mindset, collaboration, consultative, and in charge. If we're the expert, we deserve to be in charge. We need to disassociate the sales price from the list price. Mindset things is, don't gamble with your client's equity, right? I don't know that you really say that, but if you think about it, when you don't do your homework, when you're not the best that you can be, you're basically spinning the wheel to see if the client gets lucky and maybe gets to where they should have been. But most of the time, they're going to be paying a price. Does anybody know what sorting questions are? Anybody?
No.
I think you'll know what it is when we talk about it. A sorting question would be like, Mr. Durso, would you like to have the first open house this Sunday or the following Sunday? Or a sorting question might be, hey, Lynn, if we decide to work together, do you like the perceived value approach or do you want to go the auction method? Right. So what I'm doing is I have these closing questions that gives the illusion of choice. Right now, everyone on this call here being a team leader, you already know how to do this, but my goal is to have you transfer this to your team members so that they can be all they can be. Jason, welcome to the team leader call, brother.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
I had to race in. I'm sorry I was late.
Oh, no apologies necessary. I'm glad to see you here. This is the best of the best that we have here, and Jason's a welcome addition. And how long have you been selling, Jason? Just give a little bio to your peers here.
I was in the military for 20 years. Got my master's degree. Went down the real estate route just because it seemed like a good logical choice. I was good at it. I've been selling for 9 years. Had a team for just about
And how much volume did you do? Brag that out for yourself.
about 13 million, maybe, I think, last year.
And average sales price?
Just over 300,000.
It's a lot of units, folks. Thanks for getting up early. It's an extra hour early for you, right?
It is. I'm in Central Time.
Yes. So all right. Well, welcome to the club here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So So we're going to give the illusion of choice, without it being like a trick. Okay, it's not like those, yay, is 2 or 4 o'clock better for you? You know, I guess it kind of is, but it kind of isn't if you do the process correctly. And at any interaction, how do you know who's in control of the process?
Person
And
asking the questions.
the person
Person who,
asking
person who talks the least.
the person the person asking the questions in control. I'll repeat that. The person asking questions is in control. Yeah, hey, Jason, how soon do you want to be out of here? How important is it for you to maximize the value of your home? Hey, if we decide to work together, which strategy would you like to use, right? You know, it has to be professionally done, but you get where you need to be by asking questions. Okay? So, a lot of times we go there and we have the mindset that we need to do this fantastic presentation. All right, who's been taught when you start out in the business that you go out there with a freaking book and you turn the pages on it? Doesn't that seem so juvenile and insulting,
Sure does.
right? And for most of you, this isn't for you. This is to reprogram you to take it back to your team members and help them. All right, because this group doesn't need this help or doesn't need it as much, but there might be a few things that could help. Here's some power phrases that I've put together in my recent, podcasting life. With the optimal strategic launching price, I don't know how high we can get this. With the optimal strategic launching price, I don't know how high this will go. Who likes that? Anybody? Oh, it's just me. It's okay. Pricing is about positioning, and the list price is just an invitation for activity.
I like it.
That one.
I think it's
Pricing
good.
is about positioning, and the list price is just an invitation for activity. We need to teach this to our team members. If we're not, it's crazy. They can get 3 years of experience in 2 months if you take this to heart. Pricing your property is a very strategic exercise, and we have a few different strategies you can deploy on the route to maximizing your equity. Pricing your property is a very strategic exercise. We have a few different strategies you can deploy on the route to maximizing your equity. Does anybody like that one?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Can we take a brief tour of your home so I can determine what distinctive marketing features we can exploit?
Yes. Good.
Can we take a brief tour of your home so I can determine what distinctive marketing features we can exploit? Um, all right. To overcome commission or price objections, I love this one. All right. We go through the whole thing. I burst your bubble. I tell you that your house is, the perceived value or the appraised value, if you hired an appraiser, is 700. We talk about what the fee is, and you get that odd look back at you, right? Or they might even question you on price. All right, here's the line. Hey, by the time this is done and you've maximized your equity, you're going to offer me a bonus, but don't worry, I won't accept it. Is that a good line or what?
Yeah, I hope it works. It sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you gotta be one with it to use that.
No. Like if you feel that, or if they even explicitly ask you, right? But and Beth, if you know that you're gonna go the distance, you're gonna go the count, you're gonna go the extra effort to make sure that this experience is referral worthy, because that's really what all of us on this call do. We deliver experiences that create repeat business. Does that not summarize the fact that we're confident that we have the process to deliver the result that they need? And
Yeah.
that they're probably going to say, Jason, you did an excellent job. I want to pay you more, but you're going to say, look, don't worry, I'm not going to take it if you offer me more. I love it. I love it. And I would be able to nail that with you if we ever go out on one together and I get that vibe that they're uncomfortable about price or commission. And Donna, if you can make a note, Donna, can you make a note of everybody who's on? And I'm going to just send this list and the Friday video so they can just forward it out to their team members.
Yeah, that would be great.
Who is iPhone 9?
That's Ron Piccolo.
Okay.
All right. Mistakes to avoid. Exact way to run pricing strategies discussions, how to handle price adjustments, show flow demo, strategic launch price, and chasing the market or having the market work with you. Okay. So this is the exact way to run the pricing strategy discussion. We're going to show you how to handle pricing adjustments, show, flow, and demo. We talk about the strategic launching price, and if you don't position it correctly, you're going to be chasing the market. But if you do position it correctly, and is there anybody in Florida that's got multiple offers on a recent listing? Ron, Lynn, anybody down in Florida? Jason?
No, not us.
No, not in our area. We're not seeing
I'd
it.
say about half of the listings I put on probably get them.
Do they get them in the first week to 10 days?
You know what? I tell a good story that I had one that was on the market for 150 days and I got 3 offers. There's no telling. It just depends on the market.
So I think Alan Dalton talked a little bit about unless your house is so unique or it's like a celebrity home where you don't have an easily discernible value, that the rest of our job is pretty easy and straightforward. And I believe that. And if you position it correctly, now by way of nodding your head, who's had a property that you've launched, right? And you've got a great offer in the first week and they turned it down and then they took less or significantly less 2, 3, 4 months down the road.
Yep, that
Yeah,
happens.
All of us, right? And I remember Beth at our holiday party, you remember at that restaurant, some of the agents were talking about, it seems like, even if it's like a month and a half into a listing, you call up and they, hey, we have multiple offers, and you're like, I can't believe it. But that's like the Jason story when after 45 or 100 days, you have 3 offers at once. But we all know that the best price, and if you have 5 offers in the beginning, and you don't accept them, or you're like, I'm cherry picking here, right? And then that first offer doesn't come together. Rob Durso, what happens when you go back to the second and third a week later?
Gone.
Yeah, they're
Gone,
they found
gone,
something.
or they're feeling like this.
Or they're big. Fucked up.
Exactly. So that's why positioning is so critically important. And that's why you don't want to gamble with your clients' money. So this is a great I think the person that the podcasters gave this credit to is a person by the name of Shane Todd. I think he's out in the West Coast. But he goes on his listing, and every one of you and every one of your team members should be doing this. Say, look at Rob Durso. After we launch your listing, I want to share with you the 10-10-3 rule. And what are most people going to say? What's the 10-10-3 rule? All right, so we'll do it again. So Rob, when we launch your listing, I want to share with you the 10-10-3 rule.
What's that?
So the 10-10-3 rule is, Rob, if we put your listing on and in the first 10 days we don't have any showings, or if the first 10 showings don't produce any offers, it tells us that we need to lower the price by at least 3%. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So what that is, that's future pacing. So that means on day 11, every time you don't have active enough showings, or you have a bunch of showings and no offers, you can say, hey, Rob, remember we talked about that 10-10-3 rule? All right, in order to maximize your equity, what we need to do is we need to adjust the price. We've already talked about it's at least 3%.
I like
Right.
that.
So who can see themselves using that? I get credit for Chopper. Wow, and Rob Durso. This is so amazing. But anyway, that's future pacing. So you don't have to have this disappointing discussion. It's day 10, right? We don't have any showings. We had a lot of showings and no offers. Is that call now super easy? And it's not like we talked about, we have to, we're going to think about, we're going to, 10 showings, no offers, 3% or more. You're welcome.
They'll be calling you to say, hey, it's day 11.
Yep, future pacing, right? Setting the expectation. All right. The 4 Ps of marketing, I'm just going to repeat this and I want you to have this with your team. Product, price, promotion, and placement, right? So price is part of marketing. Marketing is not part of the price. Price is part of marketing and marketing is not part of the price. Let that sink in. Some of you will be driving home tonight and say, I get it. Use the language, pick a strategic launching price. Pick a strategic launching price. Okay? Fair market value is in the past or the present, and we are working in the future to sell your home. I personally like fair market value is the past. We're working in the present to sell your home. Okay? I think a lot of sellers look at the recent sales, and that's how they say what their home is worth. And that's very, very logical. That's what I would think. But in reality, that's not logical, is it? Right? I mean, if the markets change, what my neighbor sold for yesterday has no bearing, does it, Jason?
Well, and I think a lot of people say that, hey, my neighbor's house sold. Well, that house is 400 square feet more with a pool.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't compare to your house, that analogy.
So, and Jason, I've been on probably hundreds, at least 100 listing with your peers, right? I go out there with them or I help them prepare. And early on, I used to get in the weeds about, the neighbor's house and this and that. I completely pivoted that whole conversation. And what I would be doing is what they talked about at the BOC is I'd be sending them a pre-listing packet. It would show them the, relevant sales, right? Then when I would go out there, I would be a master of the conversation. I'd be the communicator. Okay. And I would be talking, I'd be future pacing, and I'd be asking the questions like I talked about. It's like, where do you want to price it? I'm going to show you the exact thing that I did for Serby.
Is this the agent that was going to leave and then?
Yeah, exactly. It's the agent that was going to leave. So I went through all the comps in the neighboring towns because there weren't enough in the town itself. And I found that all the houses that sold in 30 days, the original list price was 1.681 and the sales price was 1.74. The homes that sold 31 to 90 days, original list price 1.667, sold for 1.685. And then when you go over 90 days, original ask price 1.9, sale price 1.763. So this is evidence that you want to sell it quickly because your sale to ask price is compounded. All right. And if you can communicate that well, you can really control. And I have just a couple more things, and then Indona, I'll send you the oh wait, did I share the screen when I did that or no? I did not, did I? I'm gonna share it with you real quick.
That's okay.
I just want you to see. So this took 20 minutes. This took 20 minutes to put together. 30 sales under 30 days, 6% above. Was it 6 sales, 31 to 60, 1.18 above, and then you're going above. You're going 91 to 180. You're selling at a 7.3 discount. And then this was the analysis. You ask this, you get this. You ask this, you get this. You ask this, you get that based upon those numbers. So if she asks 1988, she's likely to get 1842. If she asks 1848, she's likely to get 1958. Where do you think she asked? 1848. And an agent that was very on the bubble of leaving went into the office chat and said, hey, you know, I just had this tremendous experience. We got a $150,000 price reduction before I launched my listing. I have like 1 more minute. I'm sorry to keep you here, but this is important. So,
Rob, what I really like about your approach that you taught us is I always, struggled looking for similar houses, same number of bedrooms. Did it have a pool? Did it have renovated kitchen? Go through the pictures, look at all the stuff to find comps. And this sort of takes all that out of it. And you just look at essentially a market.
right, because it doesn't really does it really matter if you redid your bathroom? The market will
Right.
adjust for that, right?
Right.
So here's the last thing. So, you know, for those of you who've been listening to me for a while, you know, I talk about the auction, the market, and the lottery. And I've probably recently, meaning the past 2 years, I've also called lottery aspirational pricing. Okay. Now, fair market value, I often describe that as if you hired an appraiser, Beth, this is the scientific approach and how they're going to determine the value of your house.
Right.
Fair market value doesn't mean what it's going to sell for. Okay, that's just an approach of creating a value. I also now adopt the term perceived value. And for the auction method, I also would call it event strategy, where it's an event when you launch the home. All right, so this is all going out to you. It will be out to you shortly, and you'll have the link to the specific language that I think will make your job a lot easier and that of your team members. So, was this one of the better ones that we've had recently?
Yes.
Carlos, was it worth showing up or no? He's not even paying attention anymore.
Yes, I am. Stop it.
Was it worth it or what?
Absolutely. I'm just at a doctor's appointment. That's all.
All right. Wow. All right. Everybody, have a great week. And managers, I'll see you at 11.
Thanks, Rob.
Bye,
Have a good
everybody.
week, everybody.
Bye-bye.